everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Happiness Matters, the show with me, Beanie Man, and Mo the service dog, who is quietly sleeping in the hall right now. Hopefully no dogs will walk by. And I'm excited for our guest today. It's Kevin Kev Knebel. He's also known as the hippie in a suit, which I totally love. And so, funny story, we actually never met in person until right now. We lived in the same town for, well, as long as I've been here, which is 10 years. But Kevin, you just moved up to, was it Oregon?
Yeah, I live on the Oregon coast in a little tiny village of about 250 people, but I lived in the Colorado Springs area for 15 years, and somehow we never met face to face.
I know. Isn't that wild?
Crazy.
And you just moved, and that's when we connect. It's like, I think I reached out to you to be on the show right as you were moving.
Yeah. So, well, things happen when they're supposed to happen. But
you know what? There's no coincidences.
Yeah,
I talk about that all the time, too.
And it's just a matter of time until we can give each other a hug in person.
That's right.
But it's great to be chatting with you here virtually.
You too. You too. It's been a long time coming. It's like, and now here we are. So tell us a little bit about you, because I know you've been doing what you've been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
And you've been the hippie in the suit for 10 years. Now you look like it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So, well, thank you for asking. And first off, thank you so much for inviting me to
You're welcome.
chat with you and with your listeners and your viewers. The quick backstory is that years ago, what I used to do for a living was I was a piano player in the New York City area.
So you were the real piano man.
I really was. And then through a chain of events, I needed to change careers because I needed to support more than myself at a certain point. And I cut off my hair and got a suit, and I went to work in sales, which would have been the last thing in the universe I ever would have imagined. But
I can't picture you in sales.
God has a sense of humor. I ended up becoming the top salesperson for 4 separate companies in 4 separate industries,
wow,
including being the top salesperson in the world for an international consulting company in 15 countries.
That's
Which,
crazy.
even though I've said that 1,000 times all around the world, it's still, when I hear it come out of my mouth, I'm like, did I really do that? Yeah, I did. And then ironically, in 2003, they launched LinkedIn, and I'm really not a tech guy at all. But 60 days after LinkedIn launched, I got an invitation to get on it. And I looked at it as a Rolodex.
Right.
And I thought to myself, well, I could use this in my sales efforts. I never in a million lifetimes imagined it would develop into a speaking career and all this other stuff. So I started using it as a sales tool. And then pretty quickly, people started asking me, Kevin, would you come and talk to us about how to sell more effectively without being salesy, and teach us how to use that LinkedIn thing? And I said, well, I'm really not a speaker. And they said, we'll pay you. And I said, well, I guess I'm a speaker. And then within a year or two, it really took off. And about 10 years ago, I left my corporate sales career. And now for the last 10 years or so, I've been kindly asked to speak in about 1 city per week all around the world.
Nice.
So on any particular morning, I could wake up in Australia or London or South America or Tulsa. And I never, ever would have imagined that it would be this way. But I've got crap in my life like everybody else does. But all in all, it's been a pretty amazing ride.
Right. And I mean, life is really what we make.
Yes.
I mean, we all get dealt a hand, and poker players, they can have the shittiest hand and still win.
Correct.
It's what we make of it.
Not what happens, it's how you handle it.
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. So you've been there. So what else do you do? Like when you're not doing the chatting around the world type thing, what do you do for fun?
I take naps.
Naps are good.
I'm a big napper. There's very few days that I don't get an afternoon nap. I love playing my piano. I still play. I don't play for a living anymore, but I play.
Oh, good.
I'm a big, obviously being a musician, music is a very big part of my life. So I go to a lot of concerts, a lot of operas. I golf. I do a lot of skiing. Now that I'm living on the Oregon coast, it's about fishing, crabbing, clamming, just all the normal. I drink a lot of wine. I'm a normal guy.
Hey, wine is good. Wine is our friend. Some days more than others, but
it's a food group. It's a food. I have my daily serving of fruit, but it's usually squashed.
It's still fruit.
Exactly.
You know, I grew up in Germany, and beer is a food group over there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So, and I'm not a beer drinker.
I'm really not either. I'm more of a wino.
I'm not really that either.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, unless it's white and sweet.
I used to drink a lot of beer, but I think I drank enough in the first 35 years of my life that now it affects my stomach. So I'm more of a wine guy.
Did you have a mix?
I appreciate beer. I just can't really drink it that much.
Right. See, I don't like the bitterness of beer. So I mix it. It's like half beer and half 7-Up or
Really?
ginger ale. Try that.
I bet that's yummy.
It is.
Yeah.
It's real, and it's refreshing in the summer too.
And it probably won't affect my stomach just like pure beer will. Yeah.
Try it. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Dr. Beanie. No.
Dankeschön.
So fun fact, we actually found out that you lived in Nuremberg, my hometown.
That's true.
That is just so cool.
I lived there as a boy for about 2 years and learned some German, then took German in high school and a little bit in college. And my father has a deep German accent. So when I'm with my dad, usually we try to talk in. He's fluent, obviously. I'm not fluent, but I'm pretty functional.
You're functional. We did some sprechen earlier, so.
Yes, we did. Yeah, and so small world that we both spent some time in Nuremberg.
I know. Well, I spent a lot of time there because I was born and raised, and then I met the husband there. It's almost 31 years ago. This Christmas will be 31 years, and we met. I love telling that we met the old-fashioned way. And people look at me like, huh? I said that we were drunk in the bar.
Well, the bar was the original social network.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We met at a place in Nuremberg called the Green Goose. Yeah.
And for your viewers that have never been to Nuremberg, if you ever want to go to a place that is just unbelievably beautiful, just go to Nuremberg. Yeah.
Nuremberg is good. Rothenburg.
Rothenburg, yeah.
Rothenburg up to Taube. It's
Heidelberg.
So old. What I like with Rothenburg, they actually still have the original wall that goes around the town, and you can actually walk the whole thing.
Didn't Trump build that?
Different wall. It's older. Let's not go there.
I hear he's building a wall around Colorado soon. So.
Well, yeah. Well, but that's for different reasons.
Yeah.
We have such an influx of people here now.
Yeah.
But then Garden of the Gods got rated the number one.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I should know that.
It's so pretty. Yeah.
It is. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. Did you ever go to the drumming circle?
I never did. I never did, but I heard about them. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I bet.
It's amazing. Yeah, and the guy that runs it, John Thunderhard, he and I were actually starting another YouTube show.
Is that right?
Yeah.
His last name is Thunderhart.
Yeah, it's Robin. It's John Thunderhard Robinson.
About you made me think of something I haven't thought of in years. Probably 6, 7, 8 years ago, I was asked to speak at a Native American conference in Denver.
Ooh.
And it was wonderful because, for numerous reasons, but everybody had cool names like Thunderheart and Sitting Bull and all those others. And it was, here I am, the gringo, right? And it was,
but you're the hippie in the suit. You fit right in.
Then my hair was short then, but I looked like a guy from the IRS or from the government back then. But it was wonderful. Yeah.
No, I just love that energy. It is. Yeah. It's like.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's so cool. I'm trying to think of a question.
So what should we talk about?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
Well, what do people need?
Oh my goodness. I think people need hope. People need to know that there are options, even though it seems like there are no options. And I think people really need to laugh, which I think we provided that.
Yeah. And we'll provide more.
We provide more. And, stuff like tools they can implement like right now that doesn't require overthinking, that doesn't require, taking them too much out of the comfort zone, like baby steps type thing. And I think everybody needs that. Everybody I talk to, when I share with what I do and I give them my little nuggets, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. So yeah, it is easy, but it requires effort.
Yes.
So anything like that.
Well, I can make a comment on that.
Okay.
So when I stopped being a piano player back in the old days and I got into sales, I was brand new. I had never been in business other than playing piano. So I knew nothing about business, and I knew even less about sales.
Okay.
And one of the things that I learned very quickly was that it's really up to us to set our attitude. Because if we just wait for the world to set our attitude, it's not going to be a good one.
Right.
So I was advised to pick up a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People,
I love that book.
written by Dale Carnegie back in the 1930s.
I love that book.
And that's one of the primary reasons why I became the top salesperson for all those different companies. But I realized, and this was back in the old days before Al Gore invented the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized that when I got out of bed in the morning, that my success during the day was not really going to come down to my technical knowledge of whatever my profession is. My success was going to come down to my ability to sincerely and authentically connect with other people. So I took that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and I really studied it. And I continue to study it 30 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that the book was broken into 30 chapters, and every chapter is summarized by one sentence at the end of the chapter. So the very first chapter summary is don't criticize, condemn, or complain. And what I did was I took these little 3x5 cards.
Mm-hmm.
And I put one on my bedroom mirror, and it said, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. And I put one on the bathroom mirror, and I put one on my steering wheel, and I put one on inside my shower. And so I would see this don't criticize, condemn, or complain everywhere I went, and I would repeat it to myself. And after you do that for a couple of weeks, you kind of remember, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Then maybe the next month, I said, okay, I'll take the second principle, give honest and sincere appreciation. And I put that on a 3x5 card. So where I'm going with this is that most of the people watching this interview in the future, hello, people from the future, more than likely, when you get up in the morning, you probably reach for your phone. And you immediately start reading emails. Maybe you're looking at the news. And I'm going to predict that a lot of that is highly negative. Now, I'm in no way trying to be a Pollyanna here. I'm not trying to live in some, alternate woo-woo reality. I'm just saying, if you woke up in the morning and you started eating garbage, it would probably stand to reason that you'd get a stomach ache pretty fast. And if you did it for enough days in a row, it would have an impact on your health.
Yep.
What most people don't understand is that your head isn't a trash can with a hairy lid. And what we've been kind of trained to do in our society is to, from the moment you wake up, just like start pouring all this crap in your head. So one thing I would tell your viewers is it's up to you to determine your attitude, nobody else.
Yep.
So maybe set yourself a goal that when you wake up in the morning, before you go for the phone, just put How to Win Friends and Influence People maybe next to the bed, or put it in your bathroom, because you're going to be in there anyway, looking at your phone anyway. So I used to tell people 20 years ago, before we had cell phones, I would say, take the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and put it in your bathroom, because I know for a fact you're going to be sitting in that bathroom every day anyway. If all you did was read one page a day, that's it. Yep. You could read the whole book in like 2 or 3 months, right? So I'm encouraging your viewers to start the morning by at least ingesting or digesting something somewhat positive before you allow the barrage of the negativity to take over. Does that make sense, Beanie?
Oh, absolutely. I love that, because that's what I tell people too. It's like, how do you start your day? It's like, I wake up and I'm grateful I'm awake. I'm alive.
As they say in Jersey, any day you wake up without a chalk line around your body is a good day.
There you go. And then it's like, I focus on the positive. I don't even watch the news anymore, because it's the same stuff, different day. Exactly. And it's like, I really limit to what I do, and I read something and I do my affirmations and I do exactly that. Yeah. And then the other thing too, and if you don't want to read, because some of you don't want to read, I get that, audiobooks.
Oh, there you go.
I love audiobooks, because what did Jim Rohn say? When your hands are busy, but your mind is free. Oh,
beautiful.
Listen to audiobooks.
It's funny. You bring that up. It reminds me of something. I meet so many people, because I'm an author. I meet so many people who say, I feel like I have a book in me, but I'm not a writer. And what I tell them is, well, here, you don't need to write.
Right.
If you have a phone,
Dictate it.
you speak it into the phone, you go get Dragon Naturally Speaking for like 99 bucks. You put it on your computer, you speak into the phone while you're driving, just talk. Then you come home, you plug it into your program, it automatically converts it to text. So I can be a little bit literal. I don't know that the term writer is going to be around all that much longer, because you could literally, and I know people that have done this, you could speak a book into existence without ever writing one word.
Right.
You could, and to your point, you could read a book without reading, you could listen to a book.
Exactly.
So as long as you're getting the content,
Mm-hmm.
who cares what the delivery method is?
Right.
Right?
Absolutely. And it's like, for me, it's like I get stuff on audio because I'm driving and I listen to it, and but there's so many awesome nuggets in there.
Yeah.
I end up buying the book too.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
And
Great.
it works for me.
Yeah.
I love it. My husband is like, really? Didn't you just buy that on audio and now you buy the regular? I said, yeah, just go with it, honey.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
Just smile. Just smile.
Yeah. He's like, whatever.
That's great.
But it's true. I mean, there's so many different ways for us to start the day. It's like I start my day out positive. My husband starts out the day watching the news.
Yeah.
Guess who's having a better day?
I'm going to guess you and Mom.
Yeah, well, I have a Mo. Mo is always, it's so fun when we go networking, chasing that squirrel real quick. When we go networking and people, I mean, Mo is a people magnet.
Yeah, of
And I
course.
get that. It's all about Mo.
Right.
And I love it. I mean, now people recognize me by name too, which is great. But before I was like, hey, Mo. And then they look at me and they're like, and I laugh and I said, +1.
+1. Oh. So people need to know, like, to your point, people need hope.
Yes.
And they need to know that success is a decision just like failure is a decision.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're not Pavlovian dogs. So if I spit on you, Beanie, do I make you mad?
No, you're going to wipe your lens.
Yeah, if I spit on you, I don't make you mad, I make you wet.
That's right.
But we live in a society that's becoming even more and more hair trigger.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And what most people, and I dig into this a lot with a lot of my coaching clients, is that there's a big difference between reacting and responding.
Bingo.
Now I will be the first to admit, I got my own issues. Please do. Exactly. Please do not read into what I'm saying that I don't screw up. I certainly do. But I'm getting better and better and better as the years go by.
Well, because we're more aware.
Yes.
And it's that power of awareness. Great book, by the way, Neville Goddard. I can highly recommend it.
Yep.
But it's really that power of awareness. I mean,
Yeah.
I still flip my stuff every once in a while.
Of course.
But I don't stay there anymore.
Right.
For one, I recognize it right away and I redirect.
Correct.
And it makes all the difference.
That's, matter of fact, it is the only difference.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, I mean, I get still mad at some people. And I was like, but I take a breath.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. Plus, I also take inventory real quick. What's going on inside of me that's bringing that out in that other person? And sometimes it really has nothing to do with the other person. It's something within me.
Right.
And sometimes it's really about the other person. It's only about the other person. And I still won't take it personal. Either I take responsibility or I don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Either way, I win.
But we're not taught that.
No.
We're taught the capital of Kansas and the Pythagorean theorem. And I'm not trying to put down the education system, but the actual things
right.
that more than likely will allow you to live a fulfilling life,
mm-hmm.
we have to really learn them on our own.
Right. And I have to say, what I love, what I'm seeing, that there's this awakening going on. Mm-hmm. More and more people are realizing it's like, you know what? The way my life has gone, mm-hmm. it doesn't serve me. It doesn't do anything for me. I'm miserable. I hate it. Why is my life like this? And this person over here is like this. What do they know that I don't know? And for me, for a long time, I mean, I was miserable. I was just, shoot me, let me die.
Yeah.
And one day, and I talk about that a lot. I talk about that in my book too. It's like the beginning of 2004. I was so done physically, mentally. I was ready to end my life.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for my kids and my husband, I wouldn't be here today. Mm-hmm. But I had a choice to make. Do I give in and give up, or do I fight? Well, I'm not a quitter. I'm a stubborn mule. I'm a girl. I fight.
And you're German. And you're German.
And I'm German. Well, not anymore, but yes, so I fight. And it's like, and it was a road. I mean, 2000, we're talking from 2004 until I say last year, April 1st, when I started doing me, when I stepped into me and my gift.
Yeah.
That whole time I was building up to that. And I'm still learning every single day. It's like, whoa. And sometimes the universe still hits me with a 2x4 because clearly I did not get the messages beforehand.
Well, if you're not, it's great to stay in student mode because there is no status quo. If you're not growing, you're rotting.
Right. You're dying. Exactly.
So you're absolutely correct that we're all the universe. And I think you and I touched on this right before we started the recording, is that the universe will continue to deliver the lesson until it's received.
Yep. And here's the thing too, what I learned. The universe gives you the lesson. You ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
It brings it back to you and adds a little fire.
Yeah.
You still ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
It continues adding fire to it until it really burns.
Until you can't ignore it.
Until you cannot ignore it.
Right.
I mean, if you really need to learn the lesson, don't ignore it when it's just a little 2x4.
Amen.
Don't wait for it to become a raging fire because that's much harder to recover from, than it's like the 2x4. It's like, yeah, I have a bump, that hurts, that sucks, but you put your hand on it, you push it back in and you move forward and you take the lesson from that.
Yeah.
But if you don't, well, now the 2x4 is on fire.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's a bonfire, and that really sucks.
And you and me and everybody watching and listening to this has many examples of that in our lives.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Welcome to the human race, right?
Ugh, what? I thought I was alien. Thanks for bursting that bubble.
Didn't mean to burst your bubble.
Well, it's all good. No, but it really is true. It's all up to us. And we can change. If you don't like the direction your life is going, you have the choice to make a decision right now in this very moment to take a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, my GPS sometimes in my car, it's like, really, you taking me where now?
Right.
Sometimes I ignore that GPS and I take a different route. Okay. And then because I'm me and I'm stubborn, it takes me a little longer. I still get where I want to go.
Right.
But I still follow the direction, the general direction and the instructions, and sometimes my GPS takes me to a dead end. I was like, well, I guess that was not here when they made the map. But here's the thing, I'm in charge. I turn my car around and I take a different direction. I'm in charge. Yes. You're in charge.
Everybody watching and listening to this is the navigator of their ship.
I know.
Yeah.
It's very liberating, and I know it's scary. It is so scary for so many people because we're so conditioned to just follow and do the things that always have been done in the way they've always have been done, and just follow that main direction. And it's just, no, don't.
Lemmings.
I know. It's like, let's all jump off the cliff. Here we go. No.
I get the people that talk about BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals, and I get all that. I didn't become the top salesperson in the world for 4 different companies by taking a lackadaisical attitude.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I've noticed over the years is actually there's a lot of value in baby steps.
I love baby steps.
Just taking a little tiny steps, and before you know it, you're in motion.
You are. It's like, but you have to know the direction, the general direction. Right. Because if you're all over the place, the universe doesn't, or God, or whatever you want to call it, they don't know how to help you and where to send you and what to give you. Right. It's like you need to have the general directions. Like when I walked away last year, April 1st, I didn't know the who's, the when's, the what's, the house. It's not important. Right. But I knew where I was going. I knew the general direction. And everything
and
is.
You're smart enough to course correct.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even an airplane on autopilot autocorrects. Second
to second. Yeah.
So why don't we?
Because we innocently forget. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
We innocently forget that actually life is a lot simpler than we make it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
But we innocently forget that because we're told a lie.
Yeah.
We're told that life is hard and complex. That's not necessarily true. What tends to be hard and complex is the way we think about life.
Right.
But life itself is, you and I are talking right now. Somebody in the future, hello, future people again, somebody in the future is watching this right now. And the last thing in the world that person is thinking about right now is the blood flowing through their veins.
There's blood flowing through the veins?
Their hair is growing. Their fingernails are growing.
They're breathing.
They're breathing. They're not thinking about it. Now, again, I'm taking it to an extreme to point out an obvious. That's life.
Yeah.
Life has a way. It will find a way.
Always does.
And again, without going into a 7-hour seminar,
Which we could.
we could, but we tend, you know what it looks like to me, Beanie? It appears to me as the years go by, in any area of my life, physical, financial, spiritual, relational, whatever. And I can't speak for anybody else watching this, but I would predict that a lot of people would probably agree with me on this. It appears to me that complexity in any area of my life is an indication that I'm probably going in the wrong direction.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. If it's hard, you need to course redirect.
It's because life isn't designed to be complex. It's designed to be simple. Now, I'm not talking about dumbing down things or shirking responsibilities. I'm just saying it's kind of interesting when I look back over my life, the things that I thought were massive challenges, when they eventually got solved, the solution was usually a simple solution. Usually. Well, that's interesting to me. Maybe it's just my weird, quirky way of looking at the world or my weird sense of humor, but there's a lesson in there, Kevin. When are you going to get it? Right? That maybe it's about finding the fundamental principles behind how things work in those different areas of your life, whether it's finances, relationships, whatever. And then when there's 1,000 things trying to distract you, just coming back to the simple principle, right? And so anyway, that's how it looks to me.
No, and I'm with you. And we have, as humans, I mean, I know I do, we have a tendency to overthink. For the longest time for me, it was like, it can't be that easy. It can't be that simple. It just can't be that way. Because again, we're taught life is hard and this is hard. And, in order to make it, you have to struggle and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
No, you don't. Because when you're in your flow, and one of the chapters in my book actually is go with the flow. When you are in your flow, things flow. They're easy. They really are.
That's why it's called going with the flow.
Exactly. It's like, I know it's like when we moved to the Springs, 10 years ago, whatever, I knew in my heart, I'm an entrepreneur and I need to do something, it's just me. And I tried the JOB thing and I'm really not a good employee, but that's a different story.
Yeah. Me too.
But I mean, it's like, so what do I do? So I got into that MLM and that and that and that, and I bounced from here to there to everywhere. And I was not successful, but because my heart wasn't in it. And my thing too is like, lie to me, play me, I'm out. And for me, and I'm not saying anything bad about the industry, there's some good stuff in there, but for me, it was selling a lie.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I see you on stage and you have all this, that, and the other. And I see me and I'm a likable person and I'm pretty good and I'm all about helping people. It's like, why am I struggling? And I always had that feeling that's like, something doesn't feel right. But I did it anyway because it's like, I got to do something. Then that's like, I'm going to do something legit and I'm going to get me a license and become a mortgage loan officer. I did 0 in almost a year. I hated it. Yeah. It wasn't me. I was convincing myself, it's like, I get to help the people with the biggest investment of their life. And and I did 0 because my heart wasn't in it. It was hard. That was hard. It was awful. All of it, all those 10 years, the struggle, even the jobs and everything, it was a struggle because it wasn't me. It wasn't my flow. And then when I made the decision to liberate myself on April 1st last year, it changed everything. Everything changed.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
That one of the things I hear in there, and this is true in my world, is that usually fun is an indication of what you should be doing.
Yes.
It's very rare that you meet the person that succeeds at a high level long term. And I want to make sure I use the words long term because anybody can sprint,
Right.
but it's very rare that you find somebody that succeeds long term in something that they don't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So, as obvious as that what I'm about to say is, it eludes almost everybody. Fun is an indication of what you should be doing.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not having fun, you're probably doing it for the money because you innocently believe that what you think is fun won't deliver the money.
Right.
And let me make one other comment that touches on that. When you made the comment a few minutes ago, and you were correct that most people overthink.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. But what I also notice is not only do we overthink, we innocently believe our thoughts.
Right.
Now, that's a radical concept to most people, what I just said there, because we're not trained to question our thoughts.
Mm.
We just naturally think, I'm thinking it, it must be true. How insane is that?
I know, but you're so spot on.
Because for thousands of years, we thought the earth was flat.
Well, there's
And
some that believe now again.
there's some people that still believe that. Yes, there are. We'll pray for those people and give them tequila. But we thought as a culture, as a human culture, we thought the earth was flat. Now, that's not true. But we believed that
Mm-hmm.
because it appeared to be flat.
Right.
You stand at the ocean, it looks flat, right? So what most people innocently and unknowingly do, moment to moment, all day long, is they believe their thoughts without questioning them.
Mm.
And there are simple methods to learn how to question your thoughts without having to psychoanalyze yourself. But when you innocently believe your thoughts, you're capable of walking into a school and killing children.
Mm-hmm.
You're capable of doing all kinds of crazy things. I'm not condoning that behavior. I'm saying that I feel sorry for somebody that feels that doing something like that is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The only way that they could do it is if they honestly believed it was the right thing to do, because there's not a human being walking the earth that's ever done anything that they didn't think was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody could try to question me on that, but they would lose, because ultimately everything you do, even if you say to me, well, Kevin, I knew I was doing the wrong thing. Well, if you really knew it, you wouldn't have done it.
Right.
At a deep enough level, you thought it was the right thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it really comes down to learning how to question your thoughts and figure out how to convert something that you have fun doing into a way to generate an income.
Yeah.
By delivering value to other people. Because
Absolutely.
it always comes back to delivering value to other people.
It does.
Because every human walking the earth has skills and talents. The key is, how do we figure out what it is I naturally am pretty good at and I enjoy?
Yep.
And how do I find the people that are naturally not good at it, but they need help with it? And how do I deliver that value to them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just saved everybody $100,000 in an MBA. So it's really not any more complicated than that, unless we choose to believe our thinking that it is.
Right. Well, I mean, and they say too, it's like if what is it? A lie told often enough, it becomes truth.
Yeah.
People start believing it. Doesn't mean it's true.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and I told my kids too, growing up, it's like, don't believe everything you hear or see. Question it. Of course, you know, that backfired, because whenever I said something, they questioned it, but that's a different story.
Yeah, but that's, you know what, that's a good thing you said there, because it brings up an interesting point. I think that's half of the statement. Don't believe everything you hear and see,
Mm-hmm.
especially the things that you hear in your head.
Ooh, yes.
Right? Because when we say that, don't believe everything you hear and see, we're subliminally saying, don't believe everything you hear and see from other people.
Right.
What we really should be saying is, don't believe everything you hear and see, whether it's from other people or even from yourself.
And sometimes especially from yourself.
Correct.
Because that self-talk, man, that can make or break you.
Yeah.
I was like, I had some serious negative self-talk back, you know,
We
back
all have. Yeah.
in I refer to them as my dark days. And it's tough. It's like once you get sucked into that vortex, to come back out of it, that's not easy.
Well, it comes back to what I said 2 minutes ago.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm a one-trick pony. It always comes back to innocently believing you're thinking.
Yep. See, I got hit with a 2x4 a few times to get the message, snap me out of it. And sometimes that's what, actually, I got the bonfire.
Yeah.
Because I was ignoring. And that's just how it works.
It is.
Now, fortunately, I catch it way faster before I get hit really hard over the head.
Amen. Amen.
It's awesome. So this is awesome. Kevin, why did we not connect sooner? What the heck is wrong with us?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with us. I think maybe the universe or God or whatever we want to call it.
Now is the time.
Things happen for a reason.
Yep.
So here we are, and we can just go from here.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Well, thank you so much. And I will put all your contact information in the credits.
Thank you.
So everybody watching, you want to get in contact with Kevin, you are more than welcome to watch all the way to the end, to the credits, and contact Kevin, because that's how we roll. Yep. So thank you so much, Kevin, for being on the show, for sharing you, and for being you. And I'm grateful we've been connected for a while now. I'm grateful that we're actually in each other's lives. Yeah. For like real.
Yeah. And I bet you when I meet you in real life, you're going to be a little bit taller than your Facebook picture.
Maybe. There's a good possibility.
Yeah. So thank you for having me on your show. It's been a delight. I've enjoyed it so much.
Likewise.
Please keep doing what you're doing, because the world needs it.
I am.
And I just appreciate your time and your kindness in asking me to spend some time with you and your viewers. Thank you, Beanie.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, you can find more of me on mattersofperspective.com, and leave your comments below. Give me suggestions. Who do you want on the show? What topics do you want to get covered? All of those good things. And as always, be happy, be kind, be love. Until next time. Bye.